Hi, it's Peggy from the Pearl Forest, and today I have a use it up idea on how to make use of these spelling papers that have writing space on one side. This one I saved because I'm going to do something with the cat for my cat one, but this is what the pages looked like, some of them anyway. Then I took them. Several of them had the spelling words, most of them down like this, and then however many there were lines here. So I folded them approximately so just the spelling was on this side, and then I folded so that it was 4 inches wide because that would work well in the journal. But now they're too tall, so I then took and cut 3/4 of an inch off of this end. That then got me just below these numbers. And there's various numbers, but in this example. And then I cut 2.5 inches off of this end, which left me with this piece, which I'm turning into a little journal card tag or whatever. So I have a collection down here of those that we might make something later. So then you come from this down to this size, but a lot of them had writing along here. First of all, I glued them down like this. And I didn't glue all in here, which I'll tell you about later. You could if you wanted, but I thought it was a waste of glue. So here's a couple that I've glued them down. Well, the holes kind of go there, but they're open. If there's holes, they may have touched, which is no problem because I'm not doing anything with them otherwise. I guess I'll just go ahead and do all 3 of these. I'm not sure why I have 3 out for a sample, but might as well have them all done. Okay, so then I took and let's see if I have an example. I took some coffee dyed paper and folded it around, glued it on here, and then folded around, glued. So that this side, basically, other than this writing, you just have lines to write on and blank space to write on. So you could write on it in whatever way you wanted. So it made a good writing surface. And then you have either cursive words, or in some places you have printed words. Okay, so that was the next phase of what I did. So I have some of those that are done. And then some of them I took some paper and I tore it in some different manners to go on these. And then I come back and I add additional papers to work at covering them further. And I don't care if some of it still shows, but mostly I was covering it. So you still have the writing on this side. And if this didn't have anything I needed to cover, I didn't do the paper wrapped around. So these all have like a little bit of stuff on them. This is one of the small ones that I started with some scraps on it. So these are, for the most part, these ones are just have the edge. These have some paper on them. Okay, and then these ones, I consider them possibly done. I can, add something on them however I would like. So this one just has 2 kinds of papers kind of on here, and a little bit of the writing and numbers and stuff shows underneath. You have this coffee dyed paper on that side, but to make it blend in more, you go all the way around, then it seems like it fits color-wise, scheme-wise. Whoops. I won't do all these while we're watching. You could cut this as a tag, or you could keep it like a big journal card. It would fit on a page covering about that much of a page, if you wanted to do it that way. So here's some that I did. This one has 3 papers. This one has 2, and this one you don't really see anything through. This has barely any peekaboo showing through, writing on the back of them all. This one shows a little more, a couple papers. Did some that I could use for the red, white, and blue. This one I actually put a focal image in, and a variety of papers. So that's more of a scrap one. Here's one with several papers. So I finished several of these so you could see what they are. Now sometimes you have like a little, you know, edge here, but then when you go along like that, you know, see how it takes the white away. Here's another little one that I was working on. Here's a red, white, and blue one. And these are open all the way down. They may be stuck a little bit on the edge in some cases, but mostly they're open. So if you put them on a page, you could do these 3 sides and make another tuck here. You can use this pocket if you wanted, just glue the bottom inside between here, and then that would be a pocket that could go all the way down for a really long tag. You could punch some circle holes to know that that was a tag, and then you could glue it on a page, depending on which page. If it was this side, you could also glue it on the page like this and make it a pocket, but you would lose the writing part. Whereas if you stuck this in a pocket, then you would still have the writing space, but you could still also put something inside. So these are the real variety. This is, I really like these. These are from, now I'm forgetting the name, the Japanese dollar store. Starts with a D for some reason. I'm not thinking of it at the moment. But it's a translucent polka dot origami paper, and it's kind of a vellum-y texture. I really like them, and when I find them I buy more. So you can see a little bit of the spelling words coming through. So you can see I've made a variety of these for future journals. Some have scrapbook paper, some have digital, some have magazine. This one I left the word cake showing. I could cover it up later if I wanted to. This one has a little bit showing here. This has just a little bit of those words showing. So some just have 2 papers and some have a variety. I tried to put them in a kind of scheme of colors, so they would go with different journals. This is some more of that polka dot see-through paper. And this here, which stands out a lot right now, but once this is distressed, it'll just blend in with that gold. And here's one here, and this has a hole that is the top of a calendar, so there's a hole there. But now it doesn't stand out anymore. And this one has the word great I left, and I did add a little fussy cut flower. It just kind of went with this. You have to make sure when you put something on, you check your words to see if they're going up the right direction. Now this has 10, some had 15, some only have 6 or 7. But you do have the same whole paper to write on. Oh, this one, this is interesting. It actually would go this way with this paper, but I noticed as I was going along and already had a bunch of it done that I actually did the wrong side. So this is the side that I should have covered instead. So this one will need to have like coffee dyed paper or something glued to the back. Or I could use it as, since it is this way, I could use it as a side tuck, or you know, glued to the page for a top pocket or something like that. Or I just put something on the back that you could write on. So here's some more of that see-through one with a little bit of the writing still showing. This is some wrapping paper. This is tissue paper. This is a digital, and that's that origami paper, coffee dyed paper. This is a collection of digitals, I believe. This is magazine and digitals, wrapping paper and digitals, wrapping paper and digitals, wrapping paper, digitals, and origami paper. And here I've left a little bit in there. I think to make it look a little better, just take the shine off the, off the white. And then you still see the letters, but it blends in a little bit. Plus, you know, go around the edges here. So I'm just not going to go all the way around right now. So anyway, I counted up, I have like 70 of these from a year's worth of spelling that my kid was supposed to do and we never got around to doing. There's some unusual ones like this B one, which I've glued together like this, but I wanted to keep the B part and still be able to write on the back. So this makes quite a big journal card. I can do some additional covering or whatever, and then they can write on the back of that one. This is another tall one, but slightly skinnier. I thought I would color in some of these flowers and maybe add some centers on them instead of the words and cover up some other stuff with paper. And then inside the writing, even though the numbers are upside down, you can still write on this, and it made 2 pockets. And then this one has couple sailboats and some seashells, and I made angled pockets for that one. And this one had some big flowers. Once again, I can color them or cut something, put something over them, or however I end up doing it. And this one I'll probably just glue down like that. I probably will have to put some writable surface on it because that isn't as much, but that I thought would go nice in a flower one. I have a couple like architecture, building, carpentry, etc. ones, so I kept these houses. They were actually like this to make them, and then you can write on the inside. And here's all the little ones that I was working on. So hopefully that was interesting and useful to you, and you may not have activity pages like this. You know, you don't have your home spelling work, but maybe you have some old papers or some other kind of thing, or forms of some kind, even maybe ledger or something that you can think of to fold and make like this. So thank you for coming along. It's Peggy from the Pearl Forest, and I hope you have a lot of love and a nice day. Thank you for joining me. Come back next time.